Good morning, everybody. Oh, sorry, good afternoon now. Good afternoon. It's lovely to see people coming through our virtual door. We're just letting a few more people come along, and then we'll get started. My name is Ness Gale, and I work for the FSB as an operational support coordinator, along with my colleague Beth Dole, who is supporting us today. We are going to run this Maximise Your Membership session with a panelist of experts who are going to tell you a lot about some of the benefits. And we are also going to give you an opportunity to ask some questions and find out lots more about the benefits of FSB membership. Now, whether that's you're already a member and you think you're perhaps not using all the benefits, or if you are thinking about joining and you don't quite know what FSB offers, hopefully by the end of this session you will have a really good idea, and if not, you can certainly ask us questions at the end and we'll be here to support you all the way. So, okay, I've got a panel of Katie Fremantle, who is Managing Director of FSB Insurance. We've got Rajan Naran, who is one of our Regional Sales Managers at FSB, and Anne-Marie Rose, who is works for Markel and is going to tell you all about the tax investigation benefit that we have. A couple of quick housekeeping things just to let you know. You may have noticed that the session is being recorded, so you don't have to take too many notes, and hopefully you'll be able to see anything that you can watch again on the recording later on, which will be sent out to everybody. It will also go onto the FSB On Demand Hub, which is where we store all of our webinars for people to have a look at later on. It's worth having a look at that, actually, if there's any webinars that have taken place, any support webinars or anything that you may have missed, they'll be on our On Demand Hub. Now, today we haven't got a chat box for you, but we do have our Q&A box. The way it's going to work is Rajan will start shortly and he will give you an introduction to quite a few of the benefits, and then later on he will do a Q&A session round about the benefits. So if you've got any questions you'd like to put into the Q&A, please add them as we go. And then we'll also hear from Anne-Marie and Katie, and then we will answer any other questions that you have at the end. So please do add your questions into the Q&A box. Now, if there's anything that we can't answer today, we will come back to you after the event and let you know any information that you need to know. But hopefully, with this panel of experts, you will actually be able to get all your questions answered today. Okay, without further ado then, I'm going to turn straight away to Rajan, and he can just give us a really good intro to benefits of being an FSB member.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Ness. So my name's Rajan Naran. I'm the Regional Sales Manager for the London and the South West regions. Just wanted to give a little bit of a whistle-stop tour of some of the benefits that maybe you're not tapping into as a member, as well as something that might be able to help with what you're doing or what you're experiencing if you're not a member. I think the first thing I wanted to really highlight and mention is something that's really been very, very common over the last couple of months with a lot of my membership advisors who are all self-employed and they sell the membership on behalf of FSB. And that is the associate membership. What is it? What is it to do with? Am I covered? Am I not? The long and short is, if you have more than one director in any business and they're not an associate member to the FSB membership that you hold, then as you will find out a bit later from Anne-Marie, we won't actually be able to support them. And HMRC are very, very hot on looking at all the directors and trying to make sure if there's an angle in, if they do feel something's gone astray. So associate memberships are basically for all the directors of a business or a person of value for you. What I mean by that is someone that takes care of your HR or looks after your health and safety and would benefit from actually being able to access all the information and support that FSB do. So I thought that would be a good one to just start us off. But if I was to highlight three of the newest products that we've had, and I call it a product, it's a benefit that's there that you can tap into. As you know, your membership is aligned to you, i.e. you would instigate the information and the request. So what we need you to do is use your legal hubs. You've all got them, got access to them. If you don't have it or you've forgotten your password, just email customer services at fsb.org.uk. They'll be able to issue you a new password and you'll be able to access everything in there. But within that hub, the newest part that we've got is occupational health. And it's something that's actually been around for a number of years. However, it's not really been focused or actually offered to businesses that have less than 10 staff. And that is something that is very, very niche for ourselves. And you have everything in there that you can actually think of to make sure that you have rehabilitated, active staff members that will be able to be supported as they go through. Information about that, as I say, is on the Legal Hub and on the normal FSB website as well. To go in hand with that, we have a healthcare product. That product itself, that benefit, if you like, is actually tuned to be able to take the place of your GP. It means you can get a GP online. You can speak to them literally within a half an hour basis, or you can book an appointment with them. They're able to issue you, if they can diagnose what the issue is, they'll even be able to give you a prescription. Email it over, you go to the pharmacy, job done. So it just means with speed and accuracy of actually getting something remedied and taken care of. That membership, that benefit is £39 plus VAT. And what it also does is if you do join it as a member, it would actually cover your spouse and your children as well, all under one package. The other side to it is actually a cashback offering for you. And so what they've done is they've been able to go out to market and maybe give you a 5% cashback on Morrison's or Tesco's or Marks and Spencer's or Waitrose. So again, it's an additional benefit that, you know, we all know how expensive everything is at the moment. It means that we can actually give you a little bit of money back on that as well. So the healthcare is really good, very easy to do. The other one I wanted to highlight, which was quite new, but it is growing rapidly, is the benefit of training. So whether you're a business that's actually trying to grow and you want to upskill your staff, or it's a case that you need to stay compliant, so you need to keep up to date with a lot of courses. All the courses we do are CPD qualified. There was a start of about 400. I think we're in excess of 800 courses at this moment in time. The beauty of this business and the partnership we've got is if there's a course that we don't actually have on the list, just drop us an email. We'll see if we can get it added. More than importantly, if you join through a membership advisor or you're in contact with your membership advisor, they can do that for you as well. So those membership packages and benefits that I've got are over and above what you would get as an FSB member. So if I was to give you the 4 pillars, or what I would call the 4 pillars for anyone that's not a member, you have legal support, which you'll hear about shortly in regards to the tax investigation protection and all the other lovely cover that Mark will give. You actually have benefits that are there to make it cheaper to do business. So they're all at preferential rates. Insurance, payment services, bank accounts, all of these things are in there in some shape or form. And it's a partnership that you'll hear from Katie about with what we do with FSB Insurance. And the other 2 that you've got there is events like this, networking events, webinars, all of these are accessible for you wherever you are in the country. And the 4th one is basically why FSB exists, which is policy. We lobby government. We've been lobbying them for the last 51 years. For any of you that would know, we met with and launched the late payments campaign with Keir Starmer about 5 weeks ago. And so we are intricate in regards to what government look for and do with regard to businesses. And that's really the focus that we have. So I hope it's been beneficial. I hope it's helped to give you a bit of an idea of what FSB do. If you are a member, as I say, I really do mean it when I say jump on your hub, have a look what's there, see what's available to you as a benefit. And if you want to speak to anyone with regard to any issue whatsoever, all you need to do is just book an appointment. They'll call you back at a time that's convenient for you, and they'll try and remedy or give you a solution to the issue that you have. So thanks very much, Ness. As Ness mentioned, I'm more than happy to answer any questions with regard to membership. Just use the Q&A box and I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajan. That's really great. As you say, just a whistle stop introduction to some of our benefits. I was just very briefly going to just, how many of the templates do we have now that people can download for contracts and, you know, all sorts of
Templates are in excess of 1,500, and they're actually accompanied by how-to guides. Some of them would have videos to show you, to help you. But essentially, these are all the documents that you would need in business, contracts of employment, partnership agreements, company policy documents, health and safety. So pretty much everything to keep you compliant. Because as I said, that's the idea. FSB is there to really make sure that all your documentation, you know, should HSC come knocking, is there. And if we look at the other side with tax investigation, we've got Anne-Marie and her team, which are there to really take it over, because at the end of the day, this is their specialism. You guys are the entrepreneurs out there. So we're there to support you as and when on whatever hat you need us to wear.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So it's just like having an HR department in your back pocket, isn't it, really?
Absolutely. Well, it's exactly that. You know, we have so many businesses that actually have a HR department that actually still use us, because it is free legal advice. And that's what you need. You know, you need to know exactly where you stand at what point. And the beauty of us is that with the hub online, you've got the documentation there. So they can guide you through it, tell you what you need to use, and you're actually always up to date and compliant.
Yeah, that is really amazing. And lastly, I was just going to mention, you talked about the training courses and also the healthcare. And for any employers who are, sorry, any small businesses who are also employers, this could be a fantastic thing to offer to their staff. So you can't always afford to give staff maybe a big, you know, a big pay rise, but you can offer them other benefits like this.
Yes, exactly that, Ness. I mean, if you were to think about it, for £85 a year, we're able to offer these people 700 courses. So they get, it's not per course, they get all the courses. So
Okay.
you can tailor make what you want. So if you want to upskill someone in Excel, Word, PowerPoint, brilliant. If it's a case, it's in regards to how to do health and safety, or it's, you know, a little bit more specialist, it's in there. Have a look. You know, the list is endless, I have to say, but the benefit of actually keeping some retention and actually getting people staying with the business longer
Yeah.
is always there. It's a fantastic tool to be able to help you assist in that frame.
Yeah, that's really brilliant. Okay, thank you ever so much, Rajan. I'll let you
No problems at
go
all.
now, and we will hear from Rajan again later. Do add your questions into the Q&A box, and he will answer them in his next session. I see we've already got a few coming in, so that's great. Add them in, and we will definitely go through them shortly. Okay, well, we're going to hear now from Katie Fremantle, and she is the Managing Director of FSB Insurance Service, and she's going to tell you all about the fantastic benefits we have regarding insurance.
Hi, everyone, and thank you, Ness, for having me. Just a bit of a brief synopsis of who we are and what we do, and I think Beth's going to kindly share some slides for you as well, so you can take a little bit more in. FSB Insurance Service was created back in 2018 using the expertise of some existing members to fill a gap in the market. So many small businesses are directed to call centres, non-advisory lines to handle their insurances. So FSB thought it was high time that they created an FCA-regulated commercial insurance advisory firm designed to provide a more tailored hand-holding experience to assist with their often diverse and complex members. FSB started with a stake of 30%, increasing that to 49% in 2023, having deemed the project a success, which we're incredibly proud of. And we're hopeful that FSB will continue to increase that stakeholding shortly. And over the years, we have grown in the insurance world as well. So we're able to prove that the products and the services that we're able to provide have actually been acknowledged and highlighted within the industry, having achieved recognition in categories from Startup of the Year, Best Affinity Broker, Customer Champion, through to Diversity and Inclusion, which we're incredibly proud of. Thank you, Beth. So as I've alluded to already, insurance is definitely not a simple product to buy, and many small firms are just as complex in their range of expertise as many larger businesses, sometimes even more complex, because you're entrepreneurs, you can be having your fingers in many different pies, wanting to incorporate lots of different elements to your businesses and making them succeed. FSB Insurance Service is a very simple mantra for members looking for commercial insurance, and that is to give advice so that members are properly covered, selling products that will deliver when called upon at a price which represents good value. It's vitally important to be properly insured, having taken advice from a professional, and as well as our knowledge and experience within the market, I also sit on the British Insurance Brokers Association SME Advisory Board, and our CEO is on the Financial Conduct Authority's Smaller Business Practitioners Panel. This is just to give you reassurance that we're in touch with what's happening in the market, the industry, that we've got a voice as well, and we speak very openly about the needs and requirements of small businesses to make sure that they are being properly looked after in the insurance world. Thank you, Beth. So FSB is FSB Insurance Service is a right of membership service exclusive to all FSB members, and all members are able to register for it. If you are a member and you're not aware of having registered, unfortunately, because we set up as a separate legal entity, as GDPR was coming in, we were probably overcautious and created a registration process. So if you go to the FSB Insurance Service website, there is the option there just to register, and that will be able to provide you with a registration and a welcome pack, which will give you a list of all the details on the right hand side of the screen here of the benefits that you have automatically from just registering. So for clarity, how members use this, if you're an FSB member, you then become registered with us on our database, and then if you were to purchase a policy from us, that is when you become one of our customers. You are entitled to call us for guidance, which is probably one of our biggest selling points, whether you're insured with us or not, for any commercial issue that you may have. That could be advice on whether you may need a policy, a recommendation on how to enhance your policy if your policy is currently potentially needing to be reviewed. But also if you were to have any situations, I hate to mention it, I know that we're past it, but COVID, the pandemic, we had multiple thousands of members contacting us because their current brokers weren't providing them with a suitable service or any guidance. So we help members actually navigate their policies for them and provide that helpline, even though that they weren't a customer with us, although many have since become a policyholder of ours. We also have many additional registration benefits, and these all initially are free as well. So we've got a business continuity planning toolkit. This is free. You can go online and you'll get this straight away. We also use it ourselves. We've partnered with a company called Inoni, and in addition to the template itself, if you do need a consultancy service, we have preferential rates with them to provide a consultancy service to help you navigate that. We also have 10 free annual credit checks that you can use to check your own credit risk analysis, also your customers, if you're providing credit to any new customers or anyone who's starting to be funny with their invoice payments, then you can make sure that you get them checked out just to make sure that they're still meeting your requirements. We've then also got a free online commercial property valuation tool, and this is incredibly beneficial to small businesses at the moment. Underinsurance is still incredibly rife, and that is from the impact of all of the world issues that we're facing at the moment, from Brexit, war, labour, the pandemic, material supply, everything like that is still impacting cost of replacements. So even gone to timber, I think timber, the increase on materials as a material, has increased 70% in the last 7 years. So you need to make sure that your rebuild values are sufficient, because otherwise, if you were to claim, you're not going to get anywhere near the settlement that you require. That can be easily done. You put in your current sum insured, your postcode, and a small element of information such as square footage, and it will provide you with a RAG, a red, amber, green, based on your current sum insured. You can then take that a step above. If it does come back as red, as being underinsured, we've got a very comprehensive RICS approved survey that can be done, which is now a desktop survey using AI analytics, Google Images, Google Maps, where it's £149 plus VAT. And we recommend in the insurance sector that you get a valuation done every 3 years, of which this survey would be approved. If you do have a quirky property, a listed premises, then sometimes these online services are unable to be of assistance. But again, we've got preferential rates in place with our surveying provider to assist those members who need a face-to-face evaluation. And we've also got some additional services that we provide as well. So again, these are all initially free with the addition to buy additional enhancements, as well as an easy guide to insurance, because insurance isn't an easy topic to understand at all. So there's like a dummies guide, shall we say, and which provides some more information. Thank you, Beth. So appreciate, as a relatively new insurance brokerage, it can be quite daunting to put your trust in them. So we just thought it'd be worthwhile to let you know how we've got on so far in our first 7 years of trading. Just to confirm, we are now selling over 70 different insurance commercial products within the last 12 months. We use over 100 different providers to do that. In a normal brokerage, that is considerably more than what anyone would recommend, but we want to make sure that we are facilitating the requirements of the A to Z of members and their trades and what they're doing. Everything from an architect to a zoo, we insure both. We also work very closely with other organisations and affiliations, whereas if we're unable to provide you with a solution, we are aware of an affiliation or an association elsewhere that provides a very comprehensive solution for a quirky requirement, then we're more than happy to direct and make that partnership come into play as well. We've got an envious NPS score of 81%, which is classed as world-class service, which we're incredibly proud of. Followed up by 5-star Google rating reviews on Google as well, with some fantastic feedback from our members and customers. So please go take a look. We've nearly got 52,000 FSB members registered with the service, having nearly taken 9,000 calls this year to date. And this is probably a couple of months out of date now as well. We've got an enviable audit pass rate. We want to make sure that we're as compliant as possible, having been FCA regulated. And again, our motto there being advice, quality, value. So we're very proud of these figures and what we're working towards to make it even a better product and solution for you in your insurance requirements going forward. Thank you, Beth. So we have been asked to provide some case studies and examples of where we have helped members over the years. If you have a look at the Google reviews, there are some fantastic examples on there. We are absolutely there to try to assist with the financial costs of insurance. We want to provide you with a competitive solution. However, we need to make sure that we're comparing apples to apples. We've had many members come to us with a product that they've purchased from an online aggregator site on a non-advised basis. And from speaking to one of our representatives, we're having a conversation with them, and it's highlighted how potentially wrong the policy is that is in place at the moment. We're not going to provide you with a policy that we know is incorrect. We want to talk to you, expose the areas that we're concerned about, discuss potentially how we can rectify those. We want to make sure that we're providing as much advice as possible. We do have a very small quote and buy offering ourselves, but we do not heavily promote this. I would only recommend using this if you are confident on the product that you're looking to purchase and the requirements that you need. We do a monthly review of the purchases that are made on the quote and buy website. And I noticed from based off a business name that it looked very much like a pub or a restaurant. And I had a look at the risk, and it was a tradesperson and professionals policy. And the trade down was a caterer. And I couldn't gather anything from the website which highlighted to that. So I gave the insured a call, had a conversation. And I said that you put yourself down as caterer. He said, yes, but the option for a restaurant pub wasn't there. And that was because it wasn't suitable for that trade. We need to make sure that we're providing the correct policy, and having drop down lists can sometimes be a really unfortunate loophole down to where it all starts and where you can't be covered correctly. That policy in question was about £150. That then increased significantly to over £1,000 to make sure that he had suitable cover. But having talked him through the risks and what needed to be done to rectify that, then it was totally understandable and totally understanding and agreeing with making sure that cover was correct going forward. We had a marketing firm who had an office policy and put himself down as owning the buildings when we noticed that he was only a tenant. So it was unnecessary purchasing building insurance where the landlord was insuring it, so dual insurance, as well as not having any computer equipment there for his IT equipment. We've had businesses change, especially through COVID. We had a business go from a gin distillery to making hand sanitizers. We were able to talk our member through that, our customer through that, to make sure that their policy was adjusted to be suitable. Imports and exports have changed significantly over the years, so it's making sure that these risks are correct for you and the members. And unfortunately, having non-advised services, regrettably, means that this isn't always available to yourselves. Thank you very much, Beth. And then finally, just doing some good. I appreciate this may not necessarily benefit you, but we want to highlight that we also try to give back to our local communities as well. As much as our office is based in Croydon, we are spread across the UK to make sure that we're able to facilitate customer visits, client visits, and FSB events as well. However, we are incredibly proud of the work that we do with charities, going from everything from seriously ill children, cancer support services, learning disabilities, homelessness. Last year association was with Lives Not Knives, a youth-led charity dedicated to preventing knife crime, which is huge for us in Croydon and London. That generated over £15,000 worth of donations. And this year our team have just completed a Tough Mudder locally for this year's charity, which is Dementia Carers Count. And over the years, we've generated over £70,000 worth of donations to our chosen charities, which we're incredibly proud of. So we want to make sure that we're trying to cover as many areas as possible, that members can be proud of using us for their insurance requirements, advice, and again, as similar to Rajan, if you've got any questions, then please do pop them in the box, and happy to answer. Thank you, Ness.
Thank you so much, Katie. Well, there's a whole lot of things that you offer that people have got to get registered for, isn't there? And they probably aren't necessarily aware of that. So hopefully people will register and then they can take advantage of all of those additional things. But what struck me just now is doing a lot of networking. I come across some quite niche small businesses, and you've highlighted how important it is for people to have the right insurance in place, because if you haven't and you're underinsured or you're not insured for the right type of business or whatever, then it's a complete nightmare if anything goes wrong, isn't it?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, we have seen some sort of really bad examples in the event of a claim, and most customers only find out that they aren't insured correctly when unfortunate circumstances occur and there has been an incident. Regrettably, at that time, as much as we do have really great relationships with our providers, if the insurance is effectively wrong, there is very little that we can do to get an insurer to change their mind. So it is so important. And one of the other services that we provide is a review service. If a member has got insurance and has had for a number of years and haven't had a chance to review it, or they feel that it's just rolled over, we'll strip that totally back. We'll start again, talk them through the business. And that's what FSB members love to do. They love to talk about the business. They can tell us things that a computer can't automatically know, that might lead on to another question on the computer. So having that engagement, that conversation leads into us actually being able to divulge into the insurance that might be needed, and potentially suggesting areas that they haven't thought of as well.
Yeah, really, really important. So how can they register with you? Is it quite easy?
Yeah, very easy. If you just go onto the FSB Insurance Service website, there is a link from the FSB website as well. There's literally an icon at the top that says register now. You just go on, pop your membership number in there with your contact details. We do ask for a commercial renewal date, so we can contact you closer to the time. But as soon as you do that, we'll get your information, we'll get you registered on the system. You'll receive a welcome pack, which has got all the access links to the items that I've mentioned. These are all free. You don't have to buy insurance from us. Obviously, we'd love you to, but you don't have to buy insurance from us to get these benefits. There is no need or reason not to register because you think we're going to hound you. We've obviously got the option to unsubscribe if you don't want to hear about us, but we try to maintain communications with members as well for insurance related items throughout the year. So flooding, how can you prevent flooding? Shoplifting, unfortunately that's not really an insurable peril. How can you try to prevent that to protect your business? So we try to provide as much information on blogs as we can, just to try to give members as much information on how to protect their business as well.
Yeah, well, just can only advise everyone, if you're not registered and you're an FSB member, register now. Fantastic. Thank you. And congratulations on your world-class service.
Thank you very much.
Very well deserved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. Once again, as we've said, add some more questions into the Q&A box. for later. And I'm going over now to talk to Anne-Marie. She's going to tell you all about the Tax Investigation Service.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks again, Ness, for giving us the opportunity to be a part of these events. To give a bit of background about myself, I previously worked for HMRC for 7 years. I've worked as a compliance officer where I handled tax inquiries, and most recently, prior to leaving HMRC, I was a technical advisor in which I dealt with queries on the interpretation of tax legislation and provided technical advice on tax inquiries to case officers. So last year, I ultimately made the decision to leave HMRC and cross over to the other side to see how it would be like and to work outside of the actual HMRC department. So I joined Markel Tax almost a year ago, and they were previously known as Abbey Tax. And the majority of the team within Markel Tax investigations team were previously employed by HMRC. The head of our tax investigations team is an ex-inspector of taxes for HMRC as well. So Markel Tax itself has been providing support and assistance to FSB members for more than 25 years, and the team has handled surplus 1,500 inquiries for FSB members. So to give you a bit of insight into the actual FSB member benefits that come along with Markel Tax, you get tax protection cover, which is included within your FSB membership. We offer support when you need it the most. So if you get a tax or VAT inquiry from HMRC, we're there to assist you with it. We are a representation scheme, so we provide an important buffer between you and HMRC when we act on your behalf. Any accountant costs are covered where necessary and pre-agreed and authorised by our claims team. We offer a robust defence when it's needed within HMRC's inquiries, and overall, our role is to get the best potential outcome for you. This is free, there's no cost to you, and there's no catches with this. So some things that you might want to know about HMRC, they are a data-led information organisation. They have a lot of information, in instance from third-party data, which can be banks, credit card providers, and other government departments such as Land Registry, or even get information from overseas entities as well. The access HMRC has to data is more than ever before. And every year, HMRC are being more resourceful in using the data that they receive in the process of completing their tax inquiries for individuals and businesses. HMRC also has access to social media, websites, so any information that's available in the public domain, HMRC has access to. So it's always good to be careful in that sense as to what's available on yourself, on your company in the public domain. HMRC also has an actual database called Connect that they use, which has around 55 billion pieces of data within it. And this is something they use to make risk-based analysis. In terms of the actual HMRC inquiry process, they can be in relation to a particular aspect of a tax return or can be covering a full tax return completely. They will usually focus on one accounting period. However, there are instances where they can push boundaries, which is why it's important to know your rights. HMRC will normally request information within the inquiry process, such as private bank statements, companies' bank statements, receipts, invoices for any expenses, claims, a lot of information or documentation in that nature. There are also instances where HMRC may request meetings with yourself or someone within the company, and it's also important to note in these instances that these meetings are not always mandatory, so it's not always that they need to occur. It's important to note that within all inquiries, dialogue and cooperation is important. Generally, we've found that cooperation helps with a smooth process in dealing with HMRC. With all HMRC inquiries, when they do find inaccuracies, there's the possibility of penalties being charged. HMRC usually determine these penalties based on the behaviour of the individual or the company. So they will consider if the inaccuracies that they found are based on an individuals who on consideration of the facts and information available has taken reasonable care, whether they have been careless or acted deliberately in the completion of their tax affairs. We always challenge HMRC and their view based on the facts of each inquiry, especially in instances where we do not agree that a member's behaviour is in line with HMR's view, which is why having the right representation with inquiries is so important. To give some examples of inquiries that we've dealt with on behalf of FSB members, we had a full inquiry recently where an online content creator, where HMRC were concerned with the members' full income not being fully reported. And on review of the actual members' bank statements, there were some amounts that had not been included as income. So HMRC were concerned that some of the client's personal transactions should be considered as business income and not as gifts. And they were also concerned that some of these expenses that were being claimed were not wholly and exclusively for the business, such as home use and travel costs. The accountant had also incorrectly used the Scottish taxpayer status and not UK status. All of this resulted in an assessment being raised for the member in the region of 40k in additional tax liability. And as a result of us representing the member and for us pushing back and providing clear evidence and explanation, the additional tax liability was reduced to £2,726, I think, around that amount. So there was no penalty charged in that case either, because of the arguments we put forward in that case of our client or the member taking the best actions and the best steps to make sure her returns were accurate. Another example I can provide was in relation to a manufacturing company, and HMRC were concerned with a super deduction claim that was being made and wanted to check the allowances. And there was the additional potential tax liability of around 85k here after HMRC's review. And we carried out a full review of the claim that had been made, and then were able to provide a full explanation to HMRC, as well as providing supporting evidence to HMRC, which led to HMRC then accepting the position with no further additional tax liability being due as a result. So these two examples show that our assistance has resulted in positive outcomes for these members. We would always recommend that you put in a claim as soon as possible upon receiving notification of any inquiry from HMRC, as it's better for Markel to be involved from the actual outset of the inquiry. Thank you for listening. If you do have any questions, please feel free to ask in the box. You can also contact me or any members of the team via LinkedIn or via the Markel Tax Investigations webpage. Thanks for listening.
Thank you so much, Anne-Marie. And yeah, what a scary time for people when they suddenly get contacted by HMRC. And as you say, get in touch with your team immediately. Don't do anything else. Just contact you all and get the advice and get the ball rolling. One thing I've noticed is that some accountants do charge for HMRC, tax investigation insurance, and some of our FSB members aren't aware that they've got this as part of their membership. So if that's you and you're paying an accountant for this, there's no need to do that, because you're paying twice, because you've already got it as part of your membership. So definitely that would be my recommendation, not to necessarily take it out with your accountant as well. So and as you say, you're all ex-HMRC people, so you really do know your stuff, and it's very reassuring. So that's lovely. Thank you ever so much, Anne-Marie. That's brilliant. I'm sure we'll get some questions about that in the question and answer box as well.
Okay,
thank you. Back over to you, Rajan, because I know we've had a few questions come in, and let's have a look. I know you've tackled a couple of them already, but somebody has already said that they're a member and they're interested in the training. How do they access the training?
Very simple. So either speak to your membership advisor that you joined through. They'll be able to get you registered. Alternatively, if you go onto your legal hub, it's actually in there and you can get registered up in there straight away as well. That will also give you access to all of the courses that you can view down, and then you can literally just really assign them to the people that you're going to put into the training. So really straightforward. So either through the legal hub or your membership advisor. Membership advisor would be ideal, and they'll be able to help you through it all.
Okay, brilliant. And of course, they can always contact. I will be sending out the recording of this, so you can also contact me, and I'll be able to let you know where to go as to get the help and stuff like that. What else have we got? We've got some about insurance and so forth. I'll go to those in a minute. Somebody said that they find the templates quite difficult to find, but they've put something in about a link to make
Yeah,
use
so
of.
they've done a link to the index. So you've either got it, and then there will be a refresh coming soon, I'm sure. But what I generally, when I use the contracts or anything, I use the search tab at the top. Just put in what you want. So if you want contracts, it really does find it a little bit quicker. But either that or on the left-hand side, you've got an index down, and you can have an A to Z. So you can actually go through the A to Z and actually pinpoint exactly what you want. Those are the two quickest ways. What I would add to this is once you actually go to that document and download it, it actually goes in your favorites as well. So you won't need to go through everything again. You can access it directly through your favorites tab, which is on the left-hand side of the screen as well.
Yeah. Okay, great. I think it does take a little bit of time to get used to, but
It
just
does.
just have a good look through. And again, get in touch. If you're having problems, we're all very happy to help you.
Absolutely. I mean, you've got your membership advisors, as I mentioned. You've got a customer service that will be able to help and guide you as well. So,
Exactly.
we are on hand. Again, it's the membership where we need you to tell us that you need the issue or you have a problem or you need some help, and we'll be more than happy to do so.
Yeah. And talking about membership advisors, somebody has asked what's the best way to contact the membership advisor?
So if you would like to reach out to me, either as you have here on LinkedIn, I'll be actually able to help and guide anyone through. We do have a part on the site where you can actually ask or request for a membership advisor to get in touch, and they just follow the process through with your details. That will come into head office and then go straight out to the membership advisor that's located closest to you. All of them work on different geographical basis, simply because they know more about your local area than they know what's going on. They can help that much more because, as I mentioned, that policy arm is connected to all the local councils as well. So that if you have issues like we've had in London very recently with a particular water company, we're actually able to, gather up 3 or 4 members that have had a problem with them and be able to tackle it with our policy team in London. So there is different ways we
Great.
can help.
Yeah, and it's good to know that we've got local people as well who can deal with local
Absolutely.
issues. Lovely. And we also have a question about, as members, do we have advisors on hand for pensions and tax relief implications?
Yes, we do indeed. Again, use the 0808 number, or well, actually the quickest way. Just tell them what you need, who you want to speak to. They'll be able to go away, find the legal entity that you need with the specialism, and they'll get back to you probably normally within a 30-minute, 45-minute period.
Lovely. One of the benefits that we do have is banking with the co-op, along with a couple of other banking benefits as well with different companies. But somebody has
Yes.
asked specifically about the co-op, what their deal is in terms of depositing cash.
Free to deposit cash. There's no annual fee, so it will actually be free business banking for the life of your membership, your FSB membership. Doesn't cost to put money in. And the massive benefit about the co-op is they have a collaboration with the post office. So don't think about where you can go in and drop in. Most people have a post office very, very close. That becomes your local branch. So very quick, very local, and we try and make it so there's no cost implications at all.
Right, brilliant. Okay, and something else you can actually do is you can search FSB benefits on your search engine, and you will get all these benefits coming up, giving you some more information as well. So that's always very useful. Is there any help provision from FSB with questioning the authorities about very high business rates? So this would
This would come back to, as I mentioned, you just get in touch with either the customer service line, myself, or Ness. And what we would do is we'll get you in touch with your local development manager. The development managers are our connection between the local councils, what's going on in Westminster and policies and so on and so forth. and they're really focused on actually supporting the members out there. So they are the front and center of most things out in the force. So if you get in contact with either us or the customer service team, and just ask the question, it'll get directed to the correct person, or as I say, either Ness or I will be able to do that for you as well.
Yeah, and that is what is great, is that there is a local team covering every area across the country, and
Exactly.
they are the people on the ground with the contacts and the local information. So they're the best people to help with those kind of issues. One last one for you. I know you've got to dash off. Do members have to pay an additional fee to access the 800 plus training?
So the training courses are £85 per person per year for all the courses that are on the website. Now, if you have multiple, so for example, 5 people or 10 or 12, we had a warehouse in the southwest in Taunton, which had 30 staff and 15 of them signed it up. Well, they were able to get that reduced down to £65 a person for the year. So there is an additional cost, but it is very, very minimal. And the more people that you train, the cheaper it becomes for you as a business as well.
Well, that's a very good deal actually for that amount of courses, isn't it? And they're all CPD accredited, aren't they?
Exactly that. So, and that falls into the compliance side. So it means that you're showing interest. You're bringing people along, but you're keeping yourself compliant as well.
Yeah, brilliant. And it's easy to access the training, is it? They just can go on the
Really,
website.
really straightforward. Once they set you up, they'll give you the hub, the username, the passwords, and they're on hand as well to be able to support you on the other side and guide you through. The beauty I've just found is that if there's a course, as I mentioned, that's not on that list, just get in touch with them. And the provider basically comes back very, very quickly saying, yeah, I found this or I found that. Which one are you looking at? Because they're looking to grow their portfolio as well. And obviously they're trying to support FSB with all their members, not just particular industries.
Yeah, and we have such a wide range of small businesses as members. So it sounds
Exactly.
like there's going to be a course for everybody, from rabbit keeping to bookkeeping.
And everything between.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Rajan. I know you have
No
to
problems at all.
dash off.
Brilliant. Yeah, indeed. As I say, I'm on LinkedIn. So if you want to just tap my name in and connect, any questions you have or anything, whether you're a member or not, more than happy to help and more than happy to advise or point you in the right direction. All right. Thanks again, Ness.
Okay, thank you very much, Rajan. Okay, well, we have some more questions that I can just raise generally as well. So now that unfortunately we've lost Rajan because he's got to dash off, but we've got questions about FSB insurance for a start. So Katie, does FSB insurance cover people who run their business from home? The insurance would need to cover the home and context as well as the business.
Yes, we can. Working from home policy.
Right, perfect, simple.
Yeah, simple. Yes, we can.
Excellent, great. And somebody asked about the 10 free credit checks.
Yeah.
Can they be used to check potential tenants as a property landlord?
You can give it a go. The success rate is probably slim. The company that we use, they specialise in credit insurance. So it's more the commercial aspect that they're able to assist with, especially being able to get access to financials using Companies House and the accounts that are recorded and reported on. So sole traders and likely tenants are probably going to be quite tricky for our commercial provider to get information on. But if you did want to give it a go, then feel free to, and we can ask that question.
Okay, well, definitely worth giving it a try then. Somebody has registered for the insurance services today. Fantastic! As a result of this
That's what I'd like to hear.
session. You're very good. And will they have access to the free items immediately?
I might have already seen that question, so
Okay.
I spoke to a colleague, and hopefully she'll be now registered, and you should have received your welcome pack.
Fantastic, great. And that's the same with FSB benefits. As soon as you join, as you become a member, you have access to all of those benefits. You don't have to wait 4 weeks or anything like that. There you are, you've got them. So if you join and then tomorrow you get some awful HMRC query coming through, then you can contact one of Anne-Marie's team and get some help and support on it straight away, which is really good. On the website where it says legal expenses insurance is included in the membership, is this cover related to personal indemnity? Oh, that's a very good question.
Yeah, so I would say personal indemnity, from that and business related, I'm thinking professional indemnity. So that's to protect advice that you provide. So that would be a separate policy. That would be something that we're able to assist with. Professional indemnity is protecting consultants, architects,
Right.
anyone who's providing a fee service, where potentially information, figures, diagrams, anything that you provide could potentially impact your customer to have them as a financial loss. So we can do professional indemnity. Personal also makes me think of personal accident. We can do personal accident as well. That is separate to FSB's legal expenses offering.
Okay, great. So really, it's best for people to get in touch, isn't it, if they've got questions like this, and you can go into it in a lot more detail.
Absolutely.
I'm just looking down to see if there's anything else. I think we may have covered all of them. I'm just checking. Yeah, okay. I think we've answered all of the questions at the moment. If you've got any more, just add them into and especially if you've got any for Anne-Marie, about the tax investigations insurance or anything like that, do add them into the Q&A box. And if there's anything we haven't answered, we've still got a few more minutes. So what I wanted to do very quickly was, we have a Trustpilot page, FSB, and all you have to do is just search FSB Trustpilot. If you want to add any reviews on any of the events that you go to, we'd be very, very grateful to hear anything that you've got to say. Beth, have we got a few reviews that we can perhaps just read out? Okay, so we have been rated as excellent, which is great to know. And as I said, it's just Trustpilot. Search for FSB Trustpilot, and you'll be able to access it. Let's have a look and hear what some of our members have had to say. Why do people join FSB? Actually, that's a very good question. And mainly it's the legal services. That's the main primary reason people join. But obviously, you've heard today, there's so many others. Business owners have many hats to wear, and FSB helps them manage their business. Reducing overheads and improving benefits via FSB service providers, some of whom we've heard from today. Lobbying and campaigning on behalf of small businesses, and helping growth with our networking and our events. Do come along to some of our networking events if you've not been to them. They're generally about an hour, and they take place virtually up and down the country. So really you can sort of travel from one end of the country to another without leaving your seats, and you'll find them very friendly and very helpful in making new contacts and connections. And here are a few of the reviews that I chose, but you can have a look for yourself. This is a great one. We've been chasing an unpaid invoice for 4 months, and although it wasn't a huge amount for a small business, it was a lot. What might be just a small amount to a large company is enormous for a small business. The cost of seeking legal help outweighed the option of looking at this. The membership advisor explained about the legal guidance and the free documents that the FSB had to offer, and with 24 hours of signing up, we were able to get access to support and documents, and 48 hours later we sent a letter, and then the invoice was paid. So basically that invoice paid for their membership alone, and that is an absolute fantastic thing to hear. Somebody else who says they've been an FSB member for many years and very appreciative for the support and services I have access to. As a sole trader, I feel membership is vital to the continued success of my work. The resources available and the value obtained in the annual membership is incredible. Thank you, FSB. And that really is what we are here for, because sometimes as a small business or as a sole trader, you may feel you're entirely on your own, but you're not alone. I feel that FSB provides a big voice for small businesses. Sometimes just a person on their own, you haven't got a very loud voice, but with FSB you absolutely do. Somebody says, and this is a good point, because some people, they join for a specific reason and they don't necessarily know about the benefits and they don't necessarily make the most of them. That's why it's really important to try and keep a watch on the website, because things do change, new things come on board all the time, and you wouldn't necessarily be aware of them. So these people said that they joined FSB a number of years ago, didn't really make the most of it, but they've rejoined a couple of years ago now, and it's a brilliant resource for businesses across the board, in addition to the opportunities to network and collaborate. Excellent value for money. So that is lovely to hear, that people are really getting the best out of their benefits and making the most out of their membership. Have a look on Trustpilot yourself, and you can see all the reviews that are on there. Probably we won't need to go through any more, but that will just give you an idea of what people say. And as I said earlier, do please, if you've got any views about anything pertaining to FSB, even about this seminar, this session, please do add them onto our Trustpilot, because we do really appreciate your comments. And we take note, and if things need changing, it's a great way of alerting us as well. Okay, right, thank you very much for those, Beth. I'm just checking to see if any more questions have come in since we answered the others. Let's have a little look. Oh, how do I go about changing my business banking? Well, that would be a good one for Rajan. What I'll do is I will give Rajan your details and get him to get in touch with you about that one, because he's not here now. What support is available for IR35 compliance? I don't know if Katie, you know about that one, or sorry, Anne-Marie, is that a
We can assist in insurance-wise in terms of the professional indemnity requirements and extensions needed, but from an advice point of view, unfortunately, that's not our area of expertise.
No, Anne-Marie, was that something that you know about, IR35?
No, it's not something I specifically on the tax investigations team know
Okay.
about, but we do have IR35 team expertise, just not in
Okay.
the tax investigations team.
Right, okay. So the best advice there, I think, would be to contact
Contact
our
claims.
customer services, and they'll be able to put you in touch with the people who actually do deal with that area. The same with a question regarding R&D tax refund applications. Get in touch with our customer service team, and they will be able to put you in touch with, we do have a tax helpline, and they will be able to help you with that one. And let's see if we've got any more. Okay, somebody just commenting that they found the occupational therapy service, there was a charge. They didn't find that particularly helpful. That's a great comment, and thank you very much. I will pass that over to the team. Are there still any physiotherapy benefits? Yes, there are. With regard to the health scheme that Rajan talked about, which is £39 per year, not per month, per year. As part of that, you do actually get 4 physiotherapy sessions included within that. So that would more than pay for your £39, really, wouldn't it? So yeah, there are definitely, and there are also some counselling benefits there as well. So it's definitely worth having a look at that. We've got a couple of other questions that something about the right. Okay, is there a dedicated sign up link for FSB members? I will have a look at that one and get back to you. I'm sorry I haven't been able to answer that, but I think that is probably if you want to get the training, I think that's how you sign up. But I will double check that question, and I will get back to you on those ones if anything we've not been able to answer. Unfortunately, Rajan had to leave a little bit early, otherwise he would have been the expert for these ones. But we will answer them, so don't worry. We've actually basically come to the end of our allotted time, unfortunately, and thank you so much for supplying so many questions and for engaging with this session. I'd like to thank all of our panellists for talking about the benefits and the ones that we have mentioned. There are lots more. We simply can't cover them in an hour, unfortunately, but I recommend you have a look at the website and just go through. And again, I will be in touch with a link to the recording, and I will answer any of these questions, and I'll put them into the thing, so into the email that I'll send you, so you'll all get answers to see. And if you've got any other questions, do please give me a shout. Thank you for coming along, and we hope to see you at some of our other webinars and our networking events up and down the country. And if you've enjoyed this, please do leave us a Trustpilot review. Thank you, everybody, and it's goodbye.